Hey, welcome back, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy P Funk thinking right out here in the lab, in the book. I do what I do for you. We got something good for you. Let's get this party started. Hoo hoo hoo. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give you life lessons. You tune into receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right Thinker's mission, and I'm on it, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to attain your goal of obtaining spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? So let's get it together. And I ask the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. Yeah, that's what I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows and knows not, know that, a person who knows and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows, that's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. Speaking of my yacht, this is what we're going to talk about, the ABCs of mastering your serpent power, aka this is the technique, meditation technique number 3. This is part 2 to that. This is the second half. We're wrapping it up. I had to cut the early lesson short, so let's wrap it up with this concept and understanding. First of all, understand there are 2 stages to practice in the yoga. In the yoga of what? The life force energy. Remember serpent power? Development. The first stage of practice is the cleansing stage. What's that? That's here when the concentration is on what? Cleansing what? Your mind and your body. How? And on balancing the energy flow through the body. How? When the mind is purified by daily practicing of right thinking philosophy and the wisdom teachings, the body is purified by purifying your diet, first of all, eating right, a regular practice daily of physical exercise. I'm in the gym every day. My philosophy, got it from that guy there. The best thing he ever told me, a little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing. And that's the hustler's street mentality. I always learn to take a little bit or whatever compared to a whole lot of nothing. Makes sense? Still do. I still practice it. Okay. I use it for a different and a more noble and glorious purpose now. Before I used it for another purpose. Now it's more noble and glorious because I use it for the benefit, the good. But the energy flow is balanced by what? Alternate breathing. I gave you the breakdown on the breathing technique on the other lesson, so you make sure both sides is free to inhale and exhale at your leisure. But in order for your consciousness, this thing is on top of your shoulders, unfold your mind, what happened? Needs to be cleansed of what? Of your gross impurities. What the hell is a gross impurity? Good question. That's your personality that's off the hook. That's obvious to everybody. There are what? Anger, hate, greed, selfishness, etc. Those are all Saturnian qualities that you will exhibit, and that's how we can tell. And your physical body also needs to be cleansed of what? your mind-altering chemicals. That means drugs, okay? And elements of your what? Your lower vibratory rate, meaning giving in to your pleasures of the flesh. Okay, we say, you see me do this, that's lower nature, below the waist, okay, which will cause what? Your mind and even your body to what? Remain agitated and always what? Preoccupied. Agitated means it's always thinking, it's always wondering, always worrying. It ain't never at ease. Like the lake, when the wind start blowing, sediment start moving around, it get clear. You can see to the bottom. Your mind's the same way. If it's agitated with thoughts about yesterday, tomorrow, next week, last year, you still ain't clear. It ain't peaceful. An agitated mind is a preoccupied mind, and it's not a good mind, not a good state of mind. And with the desires of what? The flesh and worldly concerns. Remember when Yoda told Luke, you got to focus, and then now he's worried about Leia, he's worried about Hans, he's worried about all this other stuff. And that's why I said, Yoda told him, you're always where you're not supposed to be. You're not in the now. That's why you fail. And his mastery, your self-mastery, again, of the serpent power or the force, he had to learn and practice how to what? Focus and concentrate on the now. Now, after this cleansing stage, and you have to go through it, your serpent power yoga, wherein the elements of the body are what? Cleansed thoroughly, and the subtle energy when inside, internal, your channels of the bodies are also cleansed, which may take, you ready? Months or even years. Well, I ain't got that time. I thought I could be master myself. I thought I could get that thing done and got the way. Don't work like that. It's the process. And the tension turns to what? To now your three main channels wherein your spiritual realization unfolds. This is this is accomplished how? By manipulating the energy in your subtle mental planes and directing it toward what? The divine. Focus on God. I call it being God conscious. I call it practicing spiritual discipline. Hold yourself accountable to do what's right, no matter what the situation you're involved in. That takes practice. It don't just happen overnight. And now you are what? Your psychic energy centers, which is inside the body, the kundalini. Okay, we'll get to that in 1 second. And your spiritual or your etheric body are now distributed throughout the spine, which goes up to what? The base of the spine, right back here, up into the crown of the head up here, which is the Uranus, which is right here, third eye, okay, in the middle of your head. The Uranus, well, I love this. The Uranus, which is the serpent. Each one of these centers are called Ba-Ra, spirit of Ra, or vortex of energy of Ra. Same thing, worded different. Now in Egypt, symbolism. Come on, my man. What the world do? Kendrick Lamar, excuse me. But in Egypt, symbolisms was the philosophy that they practiced. Esoteric teaching is what they taught. They called it mystery. No, it's just mystery to you. The symbolism that my man used Sunday Super Bowl to the white people, they don't have a clue what the hell we was doing. I love that. That symbolism, we understood it. They don't. Everybody's trying to explain it to them. But what did he mean? What did he get? Yeah, Now, you're the oddball out looking at. But in Egypt, symbolism, they are what? Depicted as circles for the spiritual body, the circles of the body. They are linked in like what they call a chain, a serpentine, in the Kemetic scales of the what? Initiate. In India, the symbolism, they are portrayed as Patmos or lotuses. And it's symbolizing, there you go, symbolism, psycho-spiritual principles of what? The human consciousness. Things that you can practice in philosophy, you can implement and practice and manifest and master it. And when you're understanding these and removing what? Your obstacles to them, which is what? When you got your Arat, Shechem, That's your life force energy. And when it is free, when it's allowed to go up and get free, when your consciousness, meaning your actions, match your words, you think, you do, on the same wavelength. The heart and mind acts as one. And watch this. When this happens, when your consciousness is free, what just tell you, free your mind and your ass will follow. When your consciousness is free, you can now move toward the what? Divine essence of your being. Everything we teach, everything we try to tell you is to get you to have your connection with God for yourself, okay? And it's all mental and emotional complexes and sentiments which constitute your main obstacles. And these are the things that are blocks your irate sikkim, one's own spiritual consciousness, aka your egoness, your ignorance and your ego. Through physical exercises, though, and physical cleansing through what? Proper diet and righteous lifestyle, that changes, and daily meditation on the psycho-spiritual implications or lessons of each center we call serpent power yoga is effective. If you live right, do right, think right, act right, you'll get the Kundalini rising. You'll get the chakras lining up. It's 7 of them. And when you get to 6, that's this one here. The first one at the bottom, I got a lesson for that coming up. I ain't going to get his game. I can say that when I get there. Nice little lesson for that, to explain the chakras and how they work and what they're about. So now let's talk about the serpent power. It's a latent spiritual energy that lays dormant, coiled 3.5 times, as it were, at the what? Base of your spine, at the sacrum we call it. And when awakened, how do you awaken your serpent power? This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. Watch. It spirals upward. Awakening what? Your spiritual energy, aka your chakras, and your subtle spiritual spine. Up the spine is climbing Jacob's ladder, as Masons would tell you. But your spinal cord, 33 steps, 33 degrees of masonry. It's a little comparison there, but all this symbolic and it's significant if you understand the symbolism. Makes a lot of sense. I know what this all means, so I'm trying to get it so you can understand it too. That's why I'm trying to teach it to you. Let's get back to the lesson. Sorry, but it's all done internal. And this is the same depiction used in our ancient Egyptian iconograph. It's the A is the caduceus. We're going to break that down for you. A, we're going to talk about. B, we're going to talk about. And C, okay? And then I got another page of information for you. So let's run through this right quick. So I'll see if I can make it to the next page. But when you practice and harnessing your serpent power, this is the same depiction at the Egyptian iconograph. I just showed you A with what the staff of the god Tahuti, which later became known as the caduceus or Hermes, or the caduceus of Hermes Trismegistus. That means thrice great, from the Greek concept. Excuse me. And B, I showed you, that's the lady standing there. That's considered my yacht. You see, she got the chain coming down. Okay, symbolically, that's hers. See the Irat right here, top of the head, right here. That's her awakening. That's what you want to have when the Kundalini serpent goes. That's where you go. All right. And at the letter B, you saw that's what we're talking about now. Each ring of the scale represents what we call the energy center or your chakras. Okay. And that's called the serpentine or the chain of Maya. It's 7 links in the chain. I meant bites from 3 down, he biting. 4 up, you got a chance to prove yourself, okay? But the artistic rendition of the ancient Egyptian psycho-spiritual centers in the section B, I just showed you picture B. In Indian iconograph, that's the C, you see the 3 main nadas, excuse me, or the astral channels through which the serpent power travels are depicted as one straight channel or central shaft, the straight line, which represents the male phallus, which runs vertically, and 2 intertwining channels, okay, representing 2 opposite poles, mortality for Netet and mortality for Aset. They are one and the same, Okay? But they look at dual. They're opposites of the same serpent power energy. And this is the same depiction that they used in the ancient Egyptian iconograph for letter A, which is the staff of the god Tahuti, which later became known as the caduceus of Hermes Trismegistus. Now, on this here page, as you see, 7 is important. You got 7 chakras, okay? You got 7 conscious understanding to get to self-mastery. And then you got the 7 colors of the rainbow. See my pyramid, the prism? Light comes in, refracts on the pyramid. It gives you 7 different colors, a.k.a. the rainbow. Let's talk about that right quick. I got to break that down. I got I got just enough time maybe to get this in. All right, let's go. So I just showed you below, I just showed you the diagram of a psycho-spiritual energy centers in the human consciousness, which is also known as what we know it in Egypt as the serpent power. India is called Kundalini. For concentration and meditation exercises, that's what I'm about to break down to you. The first one, this is the body. Okay. First chakra, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. As you see at the top of the head, it's really outside the head. It's called the crown chakra. Let's talk about the concept right quick so I can break that down for you. It's called the meditative principles. Again, these are philosophical concepts that you can enhance and learn and master. The first one, it says, 1, I am sustained and provided for by what? Myself, or my higher self, or the self, meaning God. That's the first level. Level 2, you see right here at the genital parts, okay, your reproductive part, see the triangle right there? Okay. If the triangle is pointing down, that means it's female. If it's pointing up, it's male. Okay? That's how you make the distinction between that. But on the second level, it says, I will control and harness what? My sexuality. That thing between your legs, both male and female. If you don't cherish and respect that, it ain't gonna be good. Okay? That's where life comes from. That's the regenerative force. And when I was coming up, we had syphilis and gonorrhea. And then chlamydia came on later. Those are sexually transmitted diseases that if you got some kind of thing going on, you have sex with somebody, you give it to them, they have sex, they give it. So all of a sudden, we had to shut down the whole high school because it was infected with herpes, sexually transmitted disease. That's disgusting. But when I coming up, the women protected that part of their body. Different times. I don't care. It's still not good, okay? But that's my whole point. When you learn to harness your sexuality and create positive thoughts of yourself, respect yourself, find your thoughts and feelings, and you what? And your impressions for others or to others will be recognized. I told my daughters one thing: respect yourself, and they will too. If you don't respect yourself, they won't either. Starts with that. Okay. That's some quality advice. Simple as that. Real simple. Number 3. Now, this the third round. As a Mason, you think they got 3 degrees in masonry. I know you don't know jack. Okay. You just got up the wagon, so to speak. You're just getting some understanding. And that philosophy that the Masons got, that should be a household thing. Why? It teaches you nobility. It gives you structure and guidance and property. Father passed it down to his son. I did. He don't even know it. Moving on. Again, if you're a parent and you can't teach subliminal, symbolical messaging to your kids, they're not going to really understand how to do it. So teach them, talk to them. Number 3, I will understand what? My potential to serve others. You're just starting to wake up and realize it ain't all about you. Okay? Second level is all about you. But you got to master that, control that. Again, young man, yeah, I ain't got time for that. There's another lesson. But semen retention, just like a woman got a menstrual cycle, fellas, if you young men, if you don't masturbate, have orgasms for 28 days, you just adding life to your years to your life. Well, trust me, moving on. Number 4, When you get to number 4, that means you're using this. That's the heart chakra. That means you have compassion, empathy for somebody other than your damn self, okay? You're starting to become a better person. And 4, I love and care for others, not just myself. These are things that you're going to philosophically practice to ready yourself. And as you do this, you're rising. That Kundalini is rising because you're doing the things that make it rise. Living right, thinking right, and doing right. Number 5, the throat chakra. This is where you speak. Makaru. You speak from the heart. You speak truth. Not like that guy who got a forked tongue. And all our ancients know, the snake has a split tongue, 2 tongues, so to speak. They say the white man speak like the snake with that forked tongue. He's a liar. Okay? So understand that. And that's what you don't want to be. You want to be a straight tongue type of dude. Tell the truth. Makaru. All right? Number 6. Right here, my favorite number. For some reason, it's always been my favorite number. So, yeah. And it represents spirit over matter. Have the same body. It's the spirit and the physical body. They occupy the same space. But now you're becoming what? Conscious of that. That's the beautiful feeling. When this heart, which is empathetic, compassion to others. When the mind becomes conscious of who it really are, knowing thyself, that means your heart and mind working as one. That's the communion. That's the connection that you have God. Why? God dwells in the heart of man. Number 7, wrap it up right, see the clock. All right, the last one is, this is what y'all profess. I am the self. See that? I am that I am. They say, I am what? The self. You're saying, I am God. Okay? That's a little philosophy that you can practice. And when you maintain that philosophy, that state of being, oh, you will be. Why? People start recognizing your actions, your deeds, and things that you do. That's why. Let's go over this right quick. I see the clock. Now I want to show you about what we call light of consciousness. That means when you becoming conscious of yourself. And the first thing is, it's all about overcoming the first level of chakras, and that's based on what? Fear and survival. Fight or flight. Do I stay and fight or do I haul ass? Back in my day, if you got caught in the wrong neighborhood, if it's 3 of us, it's 3 of them, we gonna dance. If it's 10 of them, 3 of us, it's time to take flight. Haul ass. Why? Every man for himself, God for us all. Because if they catch you, you already know what's gonna happen. So survival mode. But that was the way of life. Just like the animals. That's that beastly nature. That's that instinctive reaction. They knew they ain't from here. Let's go get them. And the white boys was good for that. We had to go to their territory to get to a swimming pool. If it's 5 of us, and we encounter 5 of them, free pass. If it's 10 of them and 5 of us, they try to whoop out, we got to fight or run. Simple as that. Make that decision. They made it how it was. That's just how it was. All right. Fact of life. Number 2, your sexual creativity. You should be more judicial with who you lay down and have sexual encounter with. If you have an unprotected sex, you open yourself up for sexually transmitted disease and, one more important, a baby that you might not want. But if you don't want the baby, protect yourself from that element. And you don't want the sexually transmitted disease. That's a 2-banger right there. You got some win-win. Oh, I take the pill. The pill won't stop the disease. Moving on. I'm just trying to give a little sexual education for y'all. I ain't here to tell you what to do, but I'm just trying to let you know what you should do. Power and control over what? Your feelings, your emotions toward others. The ego, that 3rd degree, that's all about me. It's all about I. That's the ego level. Once you get past there, what happens? Now you reach what they call, you have universal love for somebody other than yourself. That's when you get to the upper level. Now you're starting to show something for other than yourself. The ego level, the 3rd level, that's just you being you, satisfying you, doing you. And number 5, speaking, having your emotions under control, but speaking the truth from the heart. My favorite, number 6, is your transcendental awareness. You become, when this thing open up that pineal gland, when you tickle that gland, you got information that you never knew you had. You know stuff that you don't know how the hell you know it. That's called the Akashic records of what? One's mental capacity and understanding. Once you tickle that pineal gland, it just opens up. It just, in the seventh chakra, that's the reaction. The 1,000 lotus flowers open up for you. And for all 7 chakras, they got a lotus petal on them, and they all add up to what? 1,044. And you add them all up, you get the number 9. That's the mystical number. Okay, that's the completion. And when you reach number 7, that's when you have what? You ready for this? This is the beauty part. You union with your cosmic self. That's the one you want. Ding, 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 ding. And when you go on the color spectrum, let's go right quick. Let me wrap it up. You got daylight that comes through the prism, the pyramid. When it comes in one side, it goes out. It's a 7-layered prism that it will show you what they call the rainbow. The 7 colors are the lace, my favorite. Now this is the lowest level. I love red. Red is the lowest level. I gotta live with that. I got nothing I can do about that. All right. Then you got orange. I ain't too like orange. Then you got yellow. That ain't my color. Green, my high school color. So I mess with that. I'm about to cuss. And the number 6. Number 5. Excuse me. 5 is, now we got 2 colors. You got the blue, and then you got indigo. Blue is what they call sky blue. In the daytime, it's light sky blue. At night, it's what they call indigo. Night, dark sky, right? So, or some people call it handicap blue, that royal deep blue. And the final color, royal color, is purple. Purple is the highest color on the spectrum, and it means what? Royalty. Okay? 7 is important number. 9 and 7, 3, they are important number, but the 7 is really important for a bunch of stuff. Now, I just broke into that. Now, practice concentrating on one meditative principle, for a month. When I was coming up and I was a master mason, when I was the dean of instruction, you wasn't going to get no degree until 1 year. For every degree, it took you a year to master that degree. Independence, filigraph, and then you become a master. And man, I ain't got all that time. Okay, well, you go somewhere else. I don't do it like that. That's how I did it, stuck with it, and kept it in where it should have been. And all my people were astute. I made them study. They hated me for that. I found out nobody liked that. He thought he was so smart. No, I was trying to help you be smart. Another thing. But once they wrap it up, I appreciate you. Now, as you reflect on each of your meditative principles and you chant your words of higher power of your choice and you direct your heart and mind towards what? One pointedness, they become one. I love this. And that principle, then you remain in silence and you allow the divine feeling to what? Rise within you. He ain't out there, he's in you, but you got to do some work and he'll recognize that in you and he'll talk to you, lifting you above all weakness and difficulties, erasing your ignorance and removing all obstructions of your path in each particular center of the chakras growing up. Once you master them, once you get through them, now you will allow yourself to what? Be cleansed, and now the serpent power will rise within you. What? Normally, it would be normal. I stay or hide. Why? My power is open. Okay, this is what they call a rat. You see here is a cobra, Uranus, which is a cobra. On his head, he got the cow horns, which signify royalty and motherhood, maternity, and the sun disk. Okay, that's right. That means this is all spiritual aspects, and she represents the highest level that you can have, aka this Arat, which is spelled A-R-A-T. It means the serpent power goddess of ancient Egypt. Everybody had one. That's her. That's the lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. Right thinkers. In closing, you know the deal. May you all live to be 100, maybe 100 minus a day. So I never know that my right thinkers have passed away. Oh, I got more meditation techniques for you. I'll be right back.